you would love to enhance your physical well-being to another level? How many of you would be excited about being able to prevent, to release that which could cause problems in your physical self, right? How many of you would like to just be able to, in your later years and throughout your life, be able to be mobile and move around and do the things that you want to do? How many of you are excited about greater physical health and well-being? Say aye. All right, that's what we're going to talk about today. Health through prosperity thinking. The Stress Institute says that 75 to 90% of hospital or primary care visits, stress is a factor. Now, although it's difficult to prove stress is a factor, doctors intuitively know stress is a factor in people's symptoms, headaches, shoulder pain, upset stomachs, other symptoms that can happen directly linked. What are we talking about? Stress is an internal thing, isn't it? It's thoughts, it's feelings, it's emotions, and it affects us physically. And we've heard that, right? And we've got to remind ourselves, because how many people are impacting negatively their physical well-being, or will, you can get away with it maybe for years, negative attitudes, but at some point it can take its toll on the physical body, which is why it's important for us to look at it and sort of question, is there any inharmony going on inside of me that could create inharmony in my physical body? That is certainly part of prosperity, isn't it? We've been saying in this series that prosperity is not only having plenty as far as money and whatever you need when you need it, it's also inner peace, it's happiness, it's calmness, and it's physical well-being. That's part of it, isn't it? The great saints and sages tell us that your health is your greatest wealth. My health is my greatest wealth. Want to say that with me? My health is my greatest wealth. It really is, because when you have your health, then you can enjoy your life. Then you can take walks like you like to take walks. You can maybe play sports, or you can move around your house the way you want to move around your house. It's good. Now, maybe some of you here might be having troubles with some of those things. That's okay. There's no judgment here. We're not judging ourselves. We're not saying you've done anything wrong. No, that's not what we're saying, because who knows what it's linked to, really. But what we're saying is, hey, why not do what you can do to help as much as possible enhance where you are now? And no matter what the condition of your body is now, I believe through doing some of the things we'll talk about today, you can improve it, make it better, and perhaps prevent some stuff from happening later on. Sound good? Yes. All right, well, Catherine Ponder in her book, Dynamic Laws of Prosperity, she offers 3 primary ideas, and I'm going to offer 4 primary ideas that you can use to enhance your physical well-being. And the first is forgiveness. Forgiveness. Does anybody have anybody who you feel some anger about, resentment about, bitterness about? Now, here's the thing. Some of it might be happening unconsciously. Right? I'm going to give you a treatment for that here shortly, for dealing with unconscious stuff that we could be carrying around. Catherine Ponder goes as far as to say that if you got some kind of inharmony in your body, there's probably some kind of inharmony going on inside. I don't know if I completely agree with her on that one, but for 99% of us, that probably is true. The great psychic Edgar Cayce said that whatever major physical challenge you have is probably linked to something from 2 or 3 lifetimes ago. You know, so there's no judgment here on this, right? We're not here to judge ourselves, but we are here to look honestly at ourselves and look within and go, am I harboring any kind of resentment or bitterness or anger about anybody? Could be a brother, could be a sister, could be a father who is no longer on the planet, could be a mother who's no longer on the planet, it could be somebody else, a friend that betrayed us, someone at work, employee, an ex-boss, pet dog, I don't know, you know, whatever it is that is bothering us, what's causing inharmony, because that could greatly be hampering our health. There's was a businessman, very successful, self-made businessman who was doing very well financially, and he did philanthropic work in the community. He was involved in his church. He was in many civic organizations, and he had a great reputation in the community. And then he came down at the peak of his life with cancer. And he had many surgeries over the years to help continue his life. And at one point, later on in his years, he started having a conversation with a spiritual counselor. And that spiritual counselor discovered that this man, who was so outwardly successful and very popular, was carrying a hidden resentment, a hidden bitterness that was eating at him, right? Literally, figuratively, eating at him. And what she learned is that he had had several divorces, and every one of those divorces ended with, you know, there were hostility and bitterness, and that he detested his current wife. But he wouldn't divorce her. Anybody know anybody like that? Anybody know anybody like that personally? But he wouldn't divorce her because it wouldn't look good for his business. It would affect his business. And so, as so often happens, he found somebody else, a mistress who had love and understanding for him. And here's what happened. This was eating away at him, and his mistress got frustrated because he wouldn't marry her, so then her health declined. And then she turned to alcohol and drugs for some kind of emotional release. Then because her mind wasn't clear, she was an executive, it lost several important positions. And the only person who wasn't badly affected was his wife, the hated wife. She didn't take on his hostility, or she didn't let the mistress bother her. She was the one who wasn't unaffected by this. Well, he did not want to hear what this spiritual counselor had to say. He wasn't interested in learning about forgiveness. He wasn't interested in spiritual ideas. He just kept nursing his hatred for his current wife. And eventually he went back for surgery in the hospital, and it was his last surgery. He never came out of it. And the only one who really prospered was his hated wife. Because after he died, she inherited his fortune. And she went on to enjoy that fortune, and within a year got remarried and lived happily ever after. So he carried around this hidden resentment, this hidden bitterness. And you know, it's interesting. Again, we can't ever judge anybody, but I've noticed sometimes people who suffer with cancer and some of these other illnesses, oftentimes there is a hidden hurt or a resentment. Not every time, but oftentimes there's something that's down in there. And we could be carrying stuff subconsciously. We can be carrying stuff subconsciously. And it might be helpful to do some kind of daily forgiveness treatment to release the subconscious stuff that might be going on. You got any pain in your body? You got any physical challenge that you're dealing with in your life? Maybe there's a subconscious something that we could be carrying around of bitterness or resentment or anger, you know. And I've had a challenge in my life that I've been dealing with, and through awareness it's gotten a lot better, but I'd like to completely be free of it entirely. And so I started using this treatment to help get rid of any subconscious stuff, some subconscious, conscious, and other factors that could be blocking the flow of life, because that's what's happening. We block the flow of life, right? This healing energy, this flow wants to flow into us. It wants to restore us to wholeness and perfection. It's the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, and we might be frustrating that flow, as the late Eric Butterworth used to say. You frustrate the divine activity within you. It's always trying to heal you and uplift you and bless you, but we frustrate it. So here's a wonderful treatment, and that's not it, but this might be it over here. And I invite you to say it with me. I'll say a phrase, and now you're going to let this go deep into your subconscious mind. You're going to let it go deep into your mind and allow the love of God to heal you at depth. How many of y'all would like to be healed at depth? All right, here we go. I fully and freely forgive.
I fully and freely forgive.
I loose and let go.
I loose and let go.
I let go and let God's love do its perfect work in me, through me, for me. I let go and let God's love do its perfect work in the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. Activities of my mind, body, and affairs. I give thanks that peace, health, plenty, happiness, now reigns supreme in me and in my world. All right, now we're going to do it again. I want you to say it with vim and vigor now that you know what I'm brainwashing you to do. Okay, you ready for this? All right, I want to hear you. I fully and freely forgive. I loose and let go. I let go and let God's love do its perfect work in me, through me, for me. I let go and let God's love do its perfect work in the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious activities of my mind, body, and affairs. I give thanks that peace, health, plenty, and happiness now reign supreme in me and in my world. Now imagine if you said something like that twice a day, morning and before you go to bed. That willingness to let God's love flow and express through you. What might happen? What might happen? Maybe you'd release more healing life in your body. Maybe you would release any kind of blockages to your finances. Maybe you'd release some kind of blockages in your relationships. Join me in daily affirming something of this nature, of daily forgiveness, to cleanse on a deep level. Now here's another thing that we can do for forgiveness, and that is, as you affirm forgiveness and release, guess what's going to happen? Stuff's going to come up, right? It's going to come up. You got to release it. You got to let it go. When that stuff starts to come up, memories. when those memories start to come up, are you going to jump in and start to get upset about it? Oh, yeah, I can't believe I stayed in that relationship for 10 years. Blah, 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 blah. I can't believe my dad acted like such an idiot. And blah, 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 blah. Right? Are you going to get involved in that conversation in the head? No, 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 no. Let me hear you. No, 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 no. Come on, let me hear you. No, 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 no. I am not going to go there. This is coming up not for me to indulge in this self-pity and this rant, but to allow it to flow through me, right? To let it be released. Those old hurts, those old thoughts, that old conversation, those old feelings, to let them pass through. Now, they may want to stick around a little bit, but you just don't get involved. You let it. You feel it. You allow it to be. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you watch a movie. Maybe you shift it somehow, but you don't resist it. You allow it. Forgiveness. First step in healing. The next step in healing, affirmative words. Affirmative words. Nowadays, it's popular here. Sometimes you hear people say, affirmations don't work. Well, maybe if you claim, I'm a multimillionaire, maybe that won't work too well, you know. But what I have found, and many others have found, and how many of you have found, that taking an affirmation and speaking it over and over, you have felt a shift in your consciousness, in your physical body. How many of you have felt a shift in yourself using spoken words? Yeah, many of you. Why is that? Because your cells listen. They're listening. Your cells are listening. Your conscious mind, your subconscious mind is listening. And when you speak positive words of health and wholeness, your body listens. Your organs listen. Myrtle Fillmore talked to the cells in her body. Charles Fillmore healed a hip injury through positive words. You look at the scripture, the Old Testament, the book of Genesis, and God said, let there be. And there was spoken word, right? In the book of John, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. How many of y'all, Jesus is popping up in your head? Oh, that's Jesus. That creative word, that word in the ancient Greek out of which the New Testament was interpreted is creative energy. In the beginning was the Word, creative energy. God spoke this creative energy. God is speaking every moment this creative vibration, right? And there is a lot in the scriptures about the power of words, vocal words, you know. Jesus said that my words are life. My words are life and spirit. He said, watch your words. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. What kind of words are we using? What kind of words are we speaking? Right? Oh, I don't feel so good. Oh, what did you do today? Well, I went to this doctor appointment. I went to that doctor appointment. I went to this doctor because of this and that and the other thing and all that. No, don't use your words that way. Of course, we may need to go to the doctor. Of course, we might need to tell the doctor what's going on. But do we need to fill the rest of our conversations with it? No, use the power of your word. I heard God speak. Did you hear God speak? Use the power of your word to activate energy. A teenager heard the words, God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing quick. God is my health, I can't be sick. And that teenager decided to test this. She was coming down with a cold, so she started to say, God is my health, I can't be sick. God is my strength, unfailing, quick. And her cold went away. Her cold went away. It proved the power to her. I remember one time driving across California, and a similar thing happened to me. I started to feel like I was coming down with something in the drive, and I just started to speak these words louder and louder and softer and softer and softer. And amazingly, it went. I wish it would do that with everything, but some things may require a little more. Some things we've got to learn from. Some things, maybe there are lessons involved that we're here to learn. Maybe we're carrying around something we need to release and let go of on a deeper level. But affirmative words can quicken and awaken your mind and your body and the cells of your body. Charles Fillmore used to say, speak that affirmation over and over and over. Quicken those cells in your body with your spoken word. I am young, strong, and healthy. We said May Rowland used to affirm that regularly. I am young, strong, and healthy. My body knows it, and my body shows it. Right? I am young, strong, and healthy. Let me hear you. I am young, strong, and healthy. My body knows it, and my body shows it. Amen. I was visiting someone in the hospital recently, and I said, now say with me, I am whole, well, and strong. I am whole, well, and strong. My body knows it, my body shows it. My body knows it, my body shows it. And you could see her countenance begin to shift. That is a very different statement than, looking at you're feeling bad and listening to all the other stuff. Begin to affirm positive words. What impact might that have on you? Or to daily speak some positive, healing, healthy words for yourself. Step number 3 is positive imagery. Seeing yourself whole, well, and strong. Imagining part of your body working well and healthy. Right? Can you get an image? How do you see yourself as you get older? How do you see yourself as you get older? Have you accepted the images that people give you? Have you accepted the images that society gives you of what you're supposed to look like when you're in your 70s, 80s, 90s, 100, 120? Have you accepted what society is? No, you haven't, right? Well, what kind of image do you have for yourself? I don't know about you, but I love Jack LaLanne. I love Jack LaLanne, right? Anybody remember Jack LaLanne? That in his 80s, he was still working out 2 hours a day, and he was planning on swimming across some channel, and his wife was not going to have it, but I liked his attitude, He was on a talk show one time with Swami Satchidananda, the late Swami Satchidananda. They were on this talk show together, and Satchidananda was like, oh, I love your attitude. I love what you're all about. I think it's important to get examples of people who are young, strong, and healthy at every age. And to say, if it's possible for them, it's possible for me. And to aspire for that. There's no guarantees, right? We can't talk about what our karma is or what lessons and so on, but we can aspire to it. I do aspire to being that way and seeing yourself. Tony Robbins inspired me many years ago when he talked about one of his seminars. He had this man come up and he came up with his shirt off and all that, and the man was completely ripped and strong and muscle bound, and he was in his 70s. And it's like, what is your vision for yourself? How do you aspire to be? It's never too late, right? So image yourself, see yourself strong and healthy and agile and mobile. And right now, maybe there's a part of your body that you're having challenges with. Use the power of imagery for that. She tells the story of a woman who had an infection in her knee, very painful, swollen infection in her knee. And no one was helping her really. Nobody was giving her any any positive way that she could be healed. So she turned to imagery. And this is an interesting way that she did it. Every day, she would look at her good knee, her whole knee, and she would touch the knee that was in good condition, healthy. And then she would close her eyes and visualize that healthy knee, getting a sense for that healthy knee. And for weeks, she did this. For weeks. And for weeks, there was still inflammation, there was still pain, but she kept doing her imagery. You hear that? So important. Persistence with the imagery. She kept doing it. And one night, the next morning, she woke up, no swelling and no pain. Imagery. Wow, just taking a few minutes, maybe morning and evening, maybe trying what she did. I love that technique. Looking at the part of your body that is healthy and strong and getting an image of that and having that manifest. She focused on the one that was healthy and strong, and it manifested in the one that was having challenges, right? Using the power of imagery. There's a story in the New Testament where this man was born blind since he was born. And Jesus spat in the earth, right? And leaned down and created some clay and put it on the blind man's eyes. He anointed him with this clay. And then he told him to go into the river in Siloam, I forget the exact name, some name you're not really that familiar with, and you will be able to see. And so what did the man do? He went, he washed it off, and he could see. What did Jesus do? He gave him an image of being well. A blind person who, when he started this process, Jesus said, look, you're going to be able to see. And the blind man went and he saw. An image preceded that healing. And so this is what we can do for ourselves. Create the image of health. And in the very least, it gives one hope. It gives one a vision so that you're willing to do what you need to do to help allow health to come forth. Yogananda once said that, keep on affirming health until your last breath. Because when you go, you want that consciousness to go with you. A consciousness of health and wholeness and healing. So that in a future lifetime, I'm getting a little esoteric now, you can come back with that. Now, Catherine Ponder tells an interesting thing. She talks about how the ancient Babylonians were very skilled in healing and in psychosomatic, dealing with psychosomatic and even hypnosis. She said if some of that had survived, we would be even further along than we are. And that Abraham, the father of the Jews, lived in a Babylonian city, Ur. And that he, as legend says, he learned those techniques and passed them on to the Jewish people, which they utilized for hundreds of years. That's interesting. Here's another interesting tidbit. And she says that the shamans who she didn't use the word shaman, she used the word witch doctor. I don't know how that term is these days, but shaman, and how they would wear masks and do dances and do incantations. I never heard this before, but the idea was to distract the patient from their problems and to get their mind focused on something else, to get a new image, to get a new mindset so that the healing could happen. So we said there are 3 steps, right? Forgiveness, positive words or affirmations, and then imagery. And then I'm going to add a 4th one, and that is learning to direct your energy, learning to direct your chi, the Holy Spirit energy, the life force energy that you have access to. The great yogi sage Paramahansa Yogananda said that all energy enters the body through this hollow cavity at the base of your skull, the medulla oblongata. You want to place your hand there, you feel that hollow cavity that's there, and notice the calyx that might be back there too up on the screen. Isn't that nice? And so I affirm that, no. So you feel that cavity? So that's where energy flows into your physical body. And you can visualize the light flowing from that point to whatever part of your body that you want healing to flow and to heal. But even more than that, you can tense with will, low, medium, high vibration and imagine that light going to the point that you want to heal. Does anybody have a point in your body that you would like to send some healing energy to? So what you can do is focus at the center of that muscle in that area of your body and begin to tense with low, medium, high energy and vibrate with energy and see that light going to that area of your body, and then relax and feel the energy withdraw from that part of your body. You got me? So tensing with will, low, medium, high energy, vibrate that area, and then relax and feel. Yogananda taught 32 energization exercises, which I've been doing every day, to actually tense and vibrate and send energy to each part of your body. And sometime I'm going to do a seminar on that so you can do it. But for now, you can tense whatever area you want. Low, medium, high energy. Imagine that light of healing flowing from the medulla to that part of your body, and then relax and feel. And I've recently begun to utilize that more for myself. You know, you can try acupuncture, you can try chiropractic, you can try massage, you can try going to a doctor, you can try whatever you want to. And as Unity says, first to God and then to man as God directs, right? First to God and then to man or woman as God directs. You can try all these therapies. They're all part of God's healing activity, but sometimes you may find, it's not working. Maybe before you even try all that, try directing some of the energy. Try forgiveness, try affirmation, try visualization, and try sending energy, and then go wherever you're directed to go as well. You know, sometimes you need to do those things. I'm certainly not saying don't go to a doctor. That, you know what, I've met spiritual people who have had serious illnesses in their body through holistic methods. That's not a good idea, really, because you got to have that consciousness. You know, you got to have the consciousness to be able to do that. Yogananda could stand between and he has, according to people who witnessed it, he could stand between a lion and you know, the horses, and make the lion lay down like a little kitty cat and pet the lion. But for most of us, we would end up in the lion's stomach. You know, so I don't care how spiritual you are, you better be very spiritual. I'm not going to stand in front of a lion, right? Anyway, so you get what I'm saying. So you got to be wise and use common sense. But these other techniques that we're talking about, everybody can use them. You can use them and begin to explore and experience their healing properties that work. So I'd like to conclude today by having us send some energy in our body, energize our body, and remind you that you can use that energy, you can use that chi to send it to whatever parts of your body you want to send it to. So I want to invite you to stand up with me. Some of you know this, and you're going to do it with me vigorously. And of course, if there's some pain for you and you can't do it, that's all right. Don't force yourself. So imagine yourself doing it. Use your imagery. All right? There's been science showing that you can imagine yourself running and still get some benefits. Isn't that interesting? So now, walking in place, we're going to affirm, I'm awake and ready. Walking in place. I'm awake and ready. I'm awake and ready. I'm awake and ready. I'm awake and ready. Now, watch out for your neighbor. I am positive. I am positive. Energetic. Enthusiastic. I am positive. Energetic. Enthusiastic. I am positive. Energetic. Enthusiastic. Now, messing up your hair. Be glad, my brain, or your shine. Be glad, my brain. Be wise, be strong. Be glad, my brain. Be wise, be strong. Energize that brain. Now, massaging it, moving the scalp around with your fingertips. Good. Give yourself a massage. It's free, too. Now, wrapping your body, I am the master of my body. I am the master of myself. I am the master of my body. I am the master of myself. Your heart chakra now. And now stand for a moment. How many of you feel a little more energy? Yes, yes. Why? Because you use your will and your willingness to awaken energy, awaken life force, awaken chi in your body and to direct it. And now see that energy flowing to whatever part of your body you want it to flow to. Your heart, your lungs, your hips, your knees, your throat, your brain, whatever part of your body you want to visualize it, see the energy, see yourself whole and complete, strong and healthy. See yourself in your 80s and 90s, healthy, strong, your 100s, your 120s, your 130s, healthy, strong, alive and well, because that is your birthright. You're created in the image and after the likeness of God. God only intends perfect health for you. It's your birthright. Let's claim it. All right? God bless you. Thank you, Father, Mother, God, for your healing activity, for your truth that makes us free. And so it is. Amen. God bless you. Namaste.